Great afternoon. Everybody doing today? Let's get into it, right? You know, today I just want to honor Martin Luther King just for his contributions that he did. And here's the thing, right? With Dr. King, I feel like a lot of people like overlook like some of the importance of the things that he's done, things that he's did, and you know where we're at right now. Like just from segregation, racism, a lot of that stuff still goes on, right? And it's like sometimes people forget the reality of the situation that we're in, what we're facing, things that's like in DC, that we're seeing, injustices, you know, different people that we've seen that have been abused from police brutality, and we've seen the difference between privileges, and it goes on today, right? And a lot of people have different ways of dealing with it or trying to shed light to the public. You know, some people deal with it through like in a you know, through religious means. You know, they may say like well, God want me like to do this or do that, and some people have all kinds of beliefs and stuff. But here's what I want to take it back to. I want to kind of step away from, you know, the whole religious part of stuff, and let's just take it back a little bit further. Let's go back through history a little bit. And something that some people may be very aware of, some people may not, but in Africa they had what was called rites of passage. And I believe a lot of people aren't well versed on rites of passage, or maybe never heard of it, or understand like what it is and what it means and what it can do to a community, and how you could actually get a community, especially in the Black community, to start thriving, start coming together. And I'm talking about everything from marriages to businesses to your purpose to fulfillment in life to deeper connections with God. You can actually use rites of passage and adopt this in everyday living, or so just kind of get the concept of what our ancestors did back then, right? And to stop all the division. For example, so there's it could be more rites, but I'm just talking about the 5 rites of passage, right? So the first one was birth, the first rites of passage. So with birth, you know, there was a ceremony. They would name the child. They would understand that this child has gifts, and they came together, you know. And I want to kind of like talk about the practical application of this stuff from present day times to like from ancestry times. What's going on? Yeah, I'm happy you know you can catch on to the live too. You know, I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. And so the first thing with birth is, if we look how we do stuff in Western civilization right now, usually they have baby showers. You know, for different religions now, they got bar mitzvah, all kind of little stuff they do when kids get to a certain age. But I'm just going to talk about, remember, we're going to keep it grounded right now, foundational wise. So you'll have people, they'll have a baby shower, maybe friends and family, close family members and stuff like that. You know, they have the baby, and it's kind of like after that, you know, the process starts. And now here's the thing with rites of passage. See, the community got together, and the community would not, so it's kind of similar, but you're also getting like more the family and friends involved, more so just to celebrate this life, but also to celebrate the purpose of this child. So it wasn't more so just, hey, you're having a baby, we're so proud. Oh man, you're gonna be amazing parents. Yeah, great kids. It's like, all right, look. Hold on. We know you're gonna be amazing. We know some things gonna happen, but this child is gifted, and we're gonna help, because now the community started to understand, like, all right, we know that you having a child, we're gonna step up to be a part of this child's life. Not we're just going to be on it a day one to celebrate your gifts and help you get. It's going to be a journey for all of us. So the community got involved. Then it was the next rite, and I'm paraphrasing, keeping it short for the live. I'm not diving too deep in it. So I'm trying to give you a concept so you can understand exactly what I'm saying, so we can apply it to our daily life, so that we can get together as a people and start prospering better and have that deeper spiritual connection to God. This is why I'm saying it, because I believe it's very important. So the next, you had the rite of adulthood. I believe that was the second one, right? And so when you had the rite of adulthood, right, now think about present day times. In present day times, we consider adulthood as a child that finally hits the age of either 18 or 21, or we consider an adult a person that's either they've graduated school, whether it be high school or college, or maybe they just living on their own and now they're considered an adult, or now they just got to take care of themselves. Where, and if you take it back to African times, like with rites of passage, that's not an adult. And old age was not significant of being an adult. See, what happened was that when that child reached those 12 and 13 years of age and stuff like that, the community again. So you got friends, family members, ancestors, elders. They would take this child away from the stresses of life. They would take this child away from taxes. They would take this child away from working. They would take this child away from school, away from debt, away from everything that could stress this child. If it was a woman, they would teach them about how to be a woman. They would let them learn about what happens with puberty. Let them teach them about what's going to happen to your body. Teach them about different things they're going to encounter. Teach them about how they're going to have to learn how to forage, marriage, things like that. They would take the son and let him know, listen, this is what I went through. This is what I've been through. They would teach, listen, I'm a king out here. Listen, I run these tribes, son. And look, you may not be my child, but here's your father. And here's a community of different people who have made impact. These are different people who are doing things for the community. And right now, we're going to teach you how to be a man. We don't want you to worry about trying to pay the bill. We don't want you right now we got that. What we're going to do is to teach you how to use your gifts. What we're going to do to show you, look, we know you've been blessed with some things. We're going to have conversations. And so for a time period, they would talk to this person, get to know the person, understand. And it's the community doing together after they removed them from all the societal stresses. And they would work with their gifts and say, all right, after they got a deeper understanding, and this is my perspective also. So after they got different understanding, they would say, all right, so you like sports. So you got the ability. Let me see. Let me check you. Okay, so you nice. You good. So this is what you really want to do. Whether they was throwing javelins and they was just like, are you going to be we going to have you, maybe you could be the hunter out here because you nice with this thing, man. You got some physical activities. Or let's say they were a person where they wasn't doing sports. They're like, look, man, I really like helping people. It kind of just warms my heart. And they're like, man, maybe you could be like a medicine doctor. Like, hey, and they teach them. So what they was doing was they were finding out about their gifts. So when you think about in present day Western civilization, what do? We don't do that. We let the school systems teach our kids. We let Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, rap music, whatever music, bluegrass music in general, media, the environment, their hoods, wherever they grow up on, and then their immediate household and whoever's connected to the household that we engage that child in to raise the child. And you see, that's where some of the disconnect can come in. That's when some of the disorganization, because everyone has their own style of how they want to raise a child, because everyone was raised different ways. So everyone is trying to do the best that they can. So there's an ignorance of, I don't really know any other ways. This is the best way I was raised. And now this is what I know I can do. So I'm going to do this. But then emotional part also comes into play, because now people have prejudices and biases, whether it's to family members. People have unforgiveness in their heart. They don't want to communicate, bring this child to this person. They say, I can do it for me and mine. We have this new societal independence things. I can do it all on my own. We have fathers that being absent. So now you have single parents. You got, moms is now a single family member. And it's like, it's a thing where that child isn't being able to give in like a platform to develop their gifts to the fullest extent. So now they have to figure it out. They got to make a way and deal with everything that they're going through, and everything that we got, from police brutality, from racism to even just student loans, to debt, to trying to buy a house and thinking about making a family, love and friends and purpose. And it can get stressful because no one has any type of organization. And it's not a thing where it's in harmony, being like of uniform, right? So when you think of rites of passage, what they did in Africa, or our ancestors did way back when, they had a structure, they had organization, and they had management. That's one of God's, believe it or not, that's actually one of God's virtues for life is to have organization and management. That's how you can actually be more in tune with God and have a deeper connection. God loves an organized, managed person, and then the vision, and you know what I'm saying? So he loves organization. So the thing is, with the rites of passage, they said, you know what? We got to make sure anytime a child is going through adulthood, we took care of them together. It takes a village to raise a child. And so that's what some of the things they did. Now, moving on to the next rite, because I don't want to spend too long. I want y'all to look into this stuff because I believe as a community we could this can help bring about change. Then there was the rite of passage of marriage. Now, keep in mind, what we look at marriage in Western civilization, we look at marriage as two people. Now, there's different views of how people look at marriage. So I can't say as a whole. But there's some people who look at marriage like this. I want to find somebody that loves me for me. And that's the person I want to marry. Some people will say, I want to find a person that completes me. Some people will say, I want to be whole. I want to meet a person that's whole. And then that's a person I want to learn that I can grow with. Some people will say, listen, marriage for me is a business transaction. Some people say marriage for me is based on covenant instead of emotion and love. And some people say marriage is on love. So you got these different things. Again, this is why it's division, because there's no unity in vision. And people are marrying for all kinds of different reasons, usually because this is what they've been taught and this is what the community says, or they've seen from other people's marriages that got divorces, what didn't work, and they're trying to figure out for themselves, what's the best way for me to marry? Now this can go to one's morals and their values, their ethics, or some of their religion, right? Some people marry and say, listen, I want to build and have a family, be fruitful, be prosperous, raise a child to have generational wealth. This is not for me, it's for my legacy. I'm not living for me, I'm living for my last name. And some people marry because their own, we'll say it, selfish reasons. Oh, I just want to marry so I can feel good. I don't want loneliness, for abandonment issues. So they're getting married for reasons that they're emotional traumas, where they have healing that they should have went through, things that they should have gone through, or things that they could. Now they bring into that relationship, to that marriage, and it was to fill a void. And now they're trying to ask a person to try to provide a supernatural thing, or to be a completion of something that they were supposed to figure out for themselves before entering the marriage. So what the rites of passage did, they said that a person, first of all, they're distinguished, but when you were getting married and stuff, there's a difference between someone that's just old and someone that's become a actual man or woman. And how they had it back then was, you're not considered a man until you, one, were married, or a woman till you, one, were married and had kids. And they wanted to make that complete distinction so people could understand how it was to be a family. And they wanted to know, like, when we got married, it wasn't for love. Love is great to add to the marriage. But the point of the marriage was, they looked at the communities, they looked at the families, they built unions between the families of the two people, or 3, 4, whatever, that chose to get married. And because, back then they might have had multiple wives or whatever. So, but they looked at how it could affect the community also, how it could affect the families, and how it could better the family. And so they got married also with purpose. And part of it was, they would marry the person and their mission. Man, there's some good stuff if y'all really start getting it. They didn't marry just for love. They didn't marry just because I was whole or you're whole, all right, and I think I can grow with you. They also married that person's mission. So they married that person's purpose. And so they were married a person and their gifting. And they were figuring how they could be great, suitable partners to help grow the vision. So they were literally saying, listen, this is my gift. Let's say you're a nurse, you're a doctor, and this is for the female. Let's say you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, right? And you're like, you want to construct, because you got to take it back to practical day times too, right? And you're like, look, I'm a lawyer, and I know my gifting is something that I want to set people free or break their mindset. Then you got somebody else, maybe they're a personal trainer. It could be a man, he a personal trainer, or he a basketball person. He like, look, well, you're a lawyer, and I'm doing basketball, and this is my mission, this is my life. How can we come together? So now they started understanding, like, let's put a game plan. They will put their vision on paper, right? On whatever that was, trees or whatever. They would start etching it in how they wanted life to be and how they could actually, so they were actually building a marriage before they were married. They were seeing exactly, they had vision. So they understood, like, this is how we could better our culture. This is how we can help our community. This is how we can help our family, and we can help our families grow. So they had this thing where they would come together. And nowadays it's more so how they can isolate yourself more. So that's what I'm saying. They have more of a community involvement with the rites of passage, right? When it came to marriage. And if you never were married, I believe they just never looked at you as like an adult, right? Now, some people now would differ with that, because they would be like, oh, I shouldn't have to get married. This is not biblical. And that's why I'm taking this away from religion. No, this is not biblical. Bible says I don't got to get married. Yes. All these different things. That's why I'm taking it away from religion and just showing you about how the community just used to do things, right? And then you had, after the rite of passage of marriage, and remember, part of it was procreation. So you look at now we got everything from birth controls to all kinds of placebo stuff that you can make kids and all kinds of stuff. You can put two women together and make a kid, or we doing all this technology stuff that didn't exist back then, that we didn't have access to, I should say, right? So it was a little bit different, because back then, let's say you only lived in a village and it's 40 of y'all, and then there was so many different tribes, and each tribe might have been another one, might have been 200, or you wanted that tribe to get stronger. You wanted that tribe to thrive, maybe to get more land, be more farmers, build more soldiers. So procreation was part of how you made sure that your people didn't fall extinct, or didn't get induced into slavery, or didn't get killed off, or didn't die. Now, because we have such a comfort level that we're not realizing how comfortable life is, and people complain with their comfort because they don't understand another person's hell, so they're going from their own personal experience, that they don't see the fact of that dopamine receptors of how we gotta fight or live, or everything is like we might die type thing right now, and we gotta grind right now, because if not, we could be eaten by a lion, or some bears might kill us, or we got to worry about these people that's now getting guns, or all kinds of different stuff. So they had to do the procreation. They had to grow the family. So because of that, that's why the marriage was so looked at as, this is important. All right. So this, look into that too, right? Then there was and I'm not going to spend too much time. Then you had the elders, right? Because elders, there was a distinction. So when you were elder, it didn't mean just because you were older. Elders were the people that were looked at in the rites of passage as people who influenced the community, people who were building, people who were married, who had kids, people who were great people to follow, who had wisdom, that pretty much had the lifestyle you want. So what would that be in present day times? An elder would be someone like a role model, figure like Martin Luther King, somebody who was just a person that exuded, lived for what they want, their mission, their purpose. They would die for whatever it is that they knew could help people. That was the elder. They were like, this is a person who's been through it. He's walked the walk, not all about the talk. This is a person that living a lifestyle that I would be happy if my kids live that type of lifestyle. So that's the way the elders will have. That's the generational type thing, all right? Not just for my children, but my children's children. The abundance of wealth of knowledge from an elder that an elder could give because of everything that they went through. You look at present day society, a lot of people who are going through things, they want to limit their challenges, right? And that's why I always tell people, don't limit your challenges, challenge your limits. Because those tests that you go through are what breathe life to a testimony. So they don't understand everything that you're going through. You're not being picked on. You've been picked. That's how an elder became an elder. But a lot of times people shrink away at the discomfort, at the pain, at the stuff that they're going through because they don't want to go through it. But it's a process. And even I understand that you got to respect the process. And it doesn't mean it's always going to be sunshines and rainbows. Meaning it doesn't mean you'll always be happy. It doesn't mean things will always going to be good. One of my mentors, which will be like an elder, his name is Les Brown. He always said in life, you're either in a problem, getting out of a problem, or about to get into one. You will be tested. And anyone that, when you get the great, it's a quote, but it's like, great blessings or something like that comes like great responsibility, stuff like that. But the whole point was The elders were there to guide the youth. The elders were there to guide the community. The elders were there to as a form of reference of different things. So let's say someone says, hey elder, I want to be a medicine man for the community, and I'm learning about different herbs and stuff, and I really don't know too much, but they said, you know this because you've been doing this for like 30 plus years. See, that new adult, that new growing adult would talk to the elders, and the elders would mentor them. A lot of people nowadays don't have mentors. And they don't realize that can be stopping your growth because you want to be so independent, learn things on your own. Holton Buggs, mentor of mine, he said sometimes you can have a conversation with someone who's mastered something, and they can teach you in 10 minutes what it would have took you years to learn on your own. So it's like, why would you not seek out that mentorship? And it's pride and ego. A lot of people have too much pride that they don't have a humility spirit to either, one, ask for help, two, being a person that needs help, or three, saying, you know what, maybe there's some things I just don't know. And that's what the elders were there to cover, blind spots. Some people think they know it all. And for people like that, they have the lowest teachability index. And they're usually the people that stop themselves at growth. Zig Ziglar, he's another mentor of mine, all right? And he said, like, let's say with Western civilization, they might judge everything by how much money you're making, how's your lifestyle, how many cars and stuff you got there, how is your family, and how well is your kid off, right? But there's so many other things, like spiritually, are you feeling good? Like, spiritually, is your spirit good? Are you waking up and excited about life, excited about the day? Or you're a person that every time it's a day, you're just thinking about how can I make it to tomorrow? Or how can I just get on with the day? Or I'm not excited because I want to hit this business goal. I want to hit this schooling goal. I want to hit this goal, where you're not enjoying the moment. You're not being present. And you're not really appreciative of every single day and having that attitude of gratitude and walking life like that, because you understand that any day could be your last. So every day you live as if you died, what would people want you to be remembered for? What's your impact? What's your contribution? What are you living what's part of your truth? What's your gifting? What's your purpose? What is it that you really, really want to do? And that's what the elders were there for. So in a sense, you could kind of say, like, if you were starting a business, right, in present day time, you would talk to people who are already in the business you wanted. And see, the elders, if you wanted to start a family, you would talk to people who had good family structures that were progressing. And you pretty much would qualify the source. That's what the elders were there. They were for quality, sound wisdom and judgment. So you could talk to these people. But nowadays, we take advice from people who are not qualified to give it to us. Nowadays, if you want to take relationship advice, people take a relationship advice from someone who never had a successful relationship. People take financial advice from people that's broke. People talk weight loss advice from people that's fat and always got cancer. It's like, you get what I'm saying? The concept is people don't qualify the source of where they're getting their information. Usually because of love or trust. Sometimes someone can just say, oh man, it's my mom, it's my dad, so I love them, so whatever they tell me, I'm going to do. And that's how sometimes as a parent, we can hold our children back, because just because they love us and trust us, sometimes we may not be the best credible source of knowledge for a child, which takes humility to understand. Because if you're doing all you can and everything like that, but let's say you're paycheck to paycheck, you may not be able to be the best person to teach your child about wealth, or teach your child about how to handle their finance, teach your child how to invest, teach your child how to not be check to check. Because if you're doing that, although you may say, listen, don't do this because I messed up, you still would, if you wanted to give the child some type of some type of outlet with saying, all right, well, what do I do? You just connect the child to somebody that is. So you can say, well, your uncle is good. So talk to your uncle, because this man do real estate, do blah, blah, blah. So now the child has you as a resource and the uncle as a resource. So you're not trying to do it all by yourself. Don't stress yourself out. Don't do life alone. You need people. Get out of this independent stuff where you don't need people. That's a lie from the enemy. You need people. If you didn't need people, and you didn't have nobody, you just went by yourself, go sit on the island, sit with your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 kids, and just sit there and live by yourself. No people. And you would see how life would get. You would start understanding that we live life better. It's no point in having a business if you don't need people, because the business has to serve people in some way. So you need people. You don't need everybody, but you do need them. You get it? You know, so how you going to have a family? You don't need people. That type of mindset stops people. And with Rites of Passage, they understood that none of us are better than all of us. They understood confidence versus arrogance. Confidence is when you say, I'm not better than nobody else, but nobody else is better than me. They knew who they were. That's what we got to come back to. You got to know who you are and know who you aren't. But you got to know who you called to be and what you can do. And the limitations that on yourself are the only ones that you place on yourself. All right? So you can learn anything. But the thing is, in all, you know, people will say, oh, I can do anything through Christ. Yeah, let's say they wanted to take biblical and be religious. Cool. But I also read in that book, it says the things, the desires, right? So that means if you can do all things, but all things won't be for your good, but it can work out for your good. But that means all things that you're not passionate about, you might not do. But you can do all things if you're truly passionate about it. Otherwise, you may stop wanting to do that thing because your heart won't feel like you want. If you're doing it only for money, that's something you're not really passionate about. But if you're only doing something because you love to do it, sometimes you'll be rewarded with money. That just be a result because someone is seeing you be your best self. So with the Rites of Passage, they would talk to people and help them be their best selves. And let's say you wanted to be your best self right now. But the thing is, you can't because you paying bills, you doing this, the car, insurance, toothache, your dental, you just lost 2 teeth. And that's the whole point of community. Because that's if you have a bunch of people in community that will understand and saying, listen, we were doing this of unison. That's when they can be and say, hey, what? You need a place to stay? You know I got 2 bedrooms upstairs. If you don't move in here, listen, 6 months, get on your feet, stop working. I need you to work on whatever you really want to do, whatever your gift is. And listen, do that to your best of ability. Listen, I know some people, we going to get this out and show people how great you are. And trust me, it's going to come. Listen, we can't put a time limit on it, but you keep working on yourself. I guarantee you a shift will happen. Right? So then you had, after the elders, you had the ancestors, right? And with the ancestors, this was like a deeper connection with the spiritual. They would let them know that, look, now remember, this you don't have to agree with this. You don't have to disagree. This is kind of giving you conceptualized thinking. So you can just think differently. Because if you only thought what you thought and grew up like you grew up, or religious and Catholic and Baptist, whatever, Buddhist and Yogi Bears and all kinds of Moors and Muslim, all kinds of different things, right? Then that means you only know what you know. So I want to step out of that and just get to how they did life. All right. So if they looked at ancestors, they were like, look, if this person only grew old and they didn't get married, they didn't have kids, and they didn't become an elder and stuff like that, then this person, when they died, they were a dead family member. They were just the deceased. They didn't let that be the ancestors. But they said if this person has done things for the community, they became an adult, they did get married, they did have kids, they became elder, they started living their purpose, then this person could be worthy of being the ancestor, not just a dead relative. So they had a distinction. They said our ancestors, that they believed that the spirit stayed with them in the world. So they said, you know, the spirit, it doesn't just go away, it stays, it's a part of us. So that, like, part of their you know, I guess you would say rationalization or their comprehension of who God is here with us. Like, this creator created this spirit, and they put it to us, and then it gets passed on, and then it always is here with us. And I kind of love Howard, because they didn't really, maybe at the time, they just didn't try to describe it so much when saying, I'm the better people, the better people, I'm the first people, I'm the chosen people, oh, we're the people. Like, it was more so, look, God, like this God, whatever they would have called him, you know. I'm not trying to get into the Elohim and the Emmanuel, Yahweh. I'm trying to step away from that. Just think about the concept. They were like, our creator, this God. I'm going to use the word God because people can easily identify the construct of what I'm getting to. God created us, and we were here, and we had to make sure that, listen, we have the spirits of our family members, and they're with us too. And they're watching us. They're guiding us. And they're helping us build this community, build these tribes, build our people up. And during that time, if you're in the Rites of Passage, You know, it wouldn't have been the white people right there, because during that time they would all been black. So they're like, this is our people. And we have our connection to God. We have a deep, true connection. And we understand that our ancestors were people that just lived in their gift, walked in their purpose, and people that live with a heart. You know, when I listen to all this stuff, I start getting, all right, I get it's love. That's what I get. And it's like it's just all it is. It was some type of form of love. Everything that they did was in essence a form of some type of love and trust and building that they were doing. They wasn't tearing each other down. Am I saying that it was absent of all faults and stuff like that? No, I'm not. And during the rites of passage, I'm pretty sure there were families that were struggling, families fighting, conflict between each other. But the whole thing is they had a system that was kind of designed to take over from that. So let's say you put in a Western civilization, right? I guess that's some people love the preachings of kingdom lifestyle, because when you look at kingdom, it's not religious. Kingdom lifestyle was when you understand what a king is and what a queen was, right? And understand that it's a type of hierarchy for for organization, and they had some type of responsibility. See, if you're a king, if you're a queen, that means you're responsible for people. People look up to you, right? People look at you for different things. People look at you to fight certain battles for them. As a king, you had an army, you had a following, right? You had your throne, you had your castle, you had your kingdom, you had land, you had realty, you had real estate. See, a king had certain different things that you needed. You had some type of order. You had jesters that make you laugh. You had people that would sing and songs and dance, and you had organization in the kingdom. There was different types of ways. You had rule. You would take over territories. You would battle. There were crusades. As a king, it didn't just mean highly esteemed black person, highly esteemed white person. That's not what it didn't just mean. That it was, do you have all these types of values to consider yourself a king or queen? Do you have all these types of values and systems put up in place? You can't call yourself a king with no kingdom. So that's why you understand that you had to have dominion. You had to have rule over certain land. So if you're thinking back to how did they do life back then? They had land. Take it to present day then. Do you have land, my kings and queens? If not, it's time to start partnering up with your community. It's time to start partnering up with your family. I've heard that whole, oh my goodness, I've heard the thing, a prophet can't be a prophet in our own backyard. You know, that's what I hate that. And I would talk to some of my mentors and they hate that too, because they're like, if you can't even follow the person that's right there close to you that could help you reach another level, it's like you don't have the audacity, the right to sit there and try to go ask somebody else for help. When you got people in your circle that can help, people in your family that can help, but you got too much pride, ego, and don't want to have the humility to reach out or talk to them, have a conversation. I believe it was Les Brown too that says something. If you have a problem that man can solve, you have no problem at all. Don't take your big problems to your little God. Take your little problems to your big God. The size of God is the size that you've placed in him. And you don't have to pray for a promise. You have to be a little obedient. You have to put in action. You have to have faith. You have to have some desire. You have to have some belief. You have to be persistent. You have to have passion. These are different things that we have to put into application to start living in our purpose, communion with other people. And I believe a lot of people don't talk like this because people get so egotistical or self-righteous in their beliefs as their religious concerns may be, or who they are based on the things that they've done, that they stop forgetting the people around them. They stop thinking about the lives that they can touch. They stop thinking about the community because they're self-serving, self-seeking. They're only saying, I want me and mine's good. As long as me and mine's good, I'm good. And that's what I want people to just maybe open their mindset about a little bit more. It's called rites of passage. Do some research on it and look at how our ancestors live. And going by rites of passage, the ancestors were the people who were living in their purpose, living in their gift. People that understood procreation, people that actually got married, people that went through the worst of the worst and got through the best of the best to become elders, that had wisdom, people that had that kingdom lifestyle. I think it ties in together with the kingdom lifestyle too, having dominion. They had land, they had tribes, had following, had people. went to war, went to battle. They were bold. They were strong. You know, they went through stuff and they had wrongs. They made it messed up just like you and me. We all mess up, right? But the thing is, you got to forgive yourself. They forgave each other. And some people, they might not have. But it's the concept I want you to get. Rites of passage. I'm giving you, those are 5 rights. I'm pretty sure there's other more. I'm not the scholar on history and stuff like that. But it's something that I was learning about that I wanted to share with y'all about how they did life back then to, as a community, to grow and be prosperous, and how we could take that and apply it right now. So if you didn't, just apply that type of that lifestyle to what we have right now. When people have the kids, as a community, we can raise that kid together. School systems are not going to teach our kids proper history, proper things about financial literacy. We see it right now. That's why people are older and they're 25. They're in debt. They don't know what to eat. Their stuff is out of whack. They don't really know what they want. They don't know what the guidance. They're 30 years old. They just trying to find a purpose. They married, divorced. They never understand covenant. Never understand how to build a family based on your legacy. Never understand how to build. They just build on emotion. They don't understand how they can control their emotions. They dictating like external influence to internal. So they blame others, the president, their school systems, their jobs, their families, their upbringing, environment. They blamed everything else as a problem instead of realizing those were just opportunities for them to learn, to grow in, so that way they could be a solution. Every problem that you have means that you can also be the solution creator for every problem that you have. If you choose to, if you look for it that way, if you think with if you think with I can't say the word right now, not pessimistic, but optimistic. All right. So if you look at it with an optimistic mindset, if you look at everything and you say, if you look at a situation and you focus on the bad, they'll get more of the bad because that's what you're looking for, and you'll find something to validate the way you're thinking. But if you look at something and you try to focus on what's the good, then you'll find that and it'll validate the way you're thinking because you're looking for the good, even if it's a bad circumstances. Like for me, one time I got shot in the car and, it was like 30, I think I had like 30 bullet holes in my car. I had 5 people in my car. And the person beside me, he got a shot about 7-8 times. And I only got shot twice, right? And one bullet grazed through right here of my scalp. And, because I took I stole soda or whatever, that soda bust and then like it went in my eye and then I kind of moved and then that's how the bullet went there, right? So I was looking at it like, what's the teaching point in the message? And I was sitting there like, I need to stop hanging around certain people. I need to stop hanging around people that can put me in this situation. And it's not their fault. It wasn't the fault of anybody. See, I was helping people that night and gotten put in that position because of people I tried to help. It wasn't for me. I wasn't supposed to be the one that was getting shot. It was because of me trying to help certain people that didn't really want to help themselves. And I wanted to help them more than they were helping themselves. And I wanted to step up, whether I had to fight, whether if I had to be there, because they were not willing. That's why I encountered what I went. So I started to say, you know what? Let me start understanding something. It's not just about sometimes helping everybody, because we can't save everyone. And sometimes when you try to save everyone, you end up killing yourself. See, when them people shot, like they shot this dude 8 times that was sitting beside me. Now, he made it because he was real buff and all that other stuff. But that also slowed me down in life because now I couldn't graduate from school. Now I had to take months out and then I'm on bed rest and stuff like that. But it had me get closer to God because now I started reflecting. I had to learn forgiveness because I've seen these people and I've had opportunities where I could have killed them. But then there was a thing where like, are you going to be this person that you want to preach this and not live it? Do you want to know what forgiveness is? It's seeing someone where you could get away with everything that you wanted and give them everything that you wanted to give them and make them suffer like you suffered, and saying, you know what? I don't want that weight on me no more. I'm going to let that go. Not because I'm okay with what they did and trying to kill me. Not because I'm saying they can do it again. Not because I say I want to love you, my brother. It's saying I'm not going to let that overpower me to now I have to react. And I'm gonna, it's pretty much saying, God, I'm gonna let you handle that one. I'm gonna let you deal with that one. And then now I'm gonna choose in a position to help other people so they don't put themselves in the same position that I put myself in. And that's when you start learning how to be empowered. That's how you think. And when you start understanding that the position that you're in, you can help other people. That's part of being an elder. You got to grow through it. Don't go through it. You grow through it. And you don't live in a cycle of doing the same thing over and over. You learn, you reflect, you think back it. You can be sad. You can dwell on it for a little bit. But after you do all of that stuff, after the depression, after the sadness, after the hurt, after the pain, you say to yourself, okay, I'm not going to be like this anymore. And I'm not going to put myself in this position anymore. God, I see you working. I seen what you did just now. You was shaking me up. I didn't like the way it happened. I can't choose that. But I seen the Spirit was here with me, because if I didn't take that little soda that I really like, if I didn't see the soda before I left my brother's birthday, if I didn't say, oh, I done stole a free soda. If you use my cravings, you knew I was gonna like something sweet. You said, all right, you're gonna take this soda because I'm gonna shake you up tonight. I got some people I need you to help change lives of. And if you keep trying to just live in the hood, live around your homeboys, get represented in the hood, go sell drugs and make a bunch of money just so you can stun on them and, bring the Bugatti or bring the Ferrari out just to be around your homeboys and stay around Baltimore and never leave, it's a group of people you won't be able to impact because you're so close. You just want to be the big fish in a small pond. And he said, instead, I want you to be a shark in the ocean. And I want you to understand how big the world is. I want you to travel, and you're going to get yourself locked up. So if you want to travel this world, I need you to have some forgiveness in your heart. I need you to pay attention to the things I'm doing. So what am I saying to say this to you? What's this rites of passage? What's I'm trying to tell you? So sometimes you got to watch from religion. Here's what I want you to do. John, I appreciate it, my bro. Start thinking about different things that you've been in your life. Look at different circumstances, different things and start reflect on them, right? Renew your mind. Your mind is already new. Your mind is always new. But when you renew it, you're pretty much giving yourself permission to do it again. Reflect. You're giving yourself permission. Receive. If you already got the gift, now you're receiving it again. So when you receive something, when you receive a blessing, you're already been blessed. That's why I tell people, you are a blessing. You're blessed and you bless others. It's God in you, God in me, God in everybody. Regardless if they want to believe in trees and believe in cows, we still all came from the same source, which I'm considering that to be called God, because I can't identify God into a humanistic form. We have shape of people. That's just meaning we have something that was able to cultivate the land, right? Mankind, right? Not man over woman. That's a thing where you try to create a man over women type thing. No. That's a humanistic type of mindset, right? So that's what I'm saying. What situations are you going through that you need to say, you know what? What's a lesson I could learn here? How could I help somebody else deal with this? You know, what's something I really get pissed off at? And how could I bring this to my community? What's some people that's really in your circle? Sometimes you got to allow people to do what they want to do so you can see what they would rather do. Sometimes we want to control people and, oh, you should be there for me because I'm your friend. A friend versus an enemy. You have to understand, we sometimes categorize people as friends just because of how long we've known a person or proximity, who's close. Right? When you start understanding a true definition of a friend, you can you can meet somebody for 2 weeks, and that person can be more of a friend than somebody if you met for 10 years. So when you got certain people that's talking behind your back, talking bad, you can meet somebody and they could just say something like, I only know that person 2 weeks. They never gave me a reason to doubt them, but I love this person, they doing that, and right now I'm riding with them. And you can meet somebody know you 10 years, and they talk about something, like, oh, Leo, oh, fuck that nigga. I don't care about you. I'll be helping them with all this stuff, man. Like, it's the people that's just throwing salt on you. But you think that they there for you just because you're friends. That's because you've known them for so long. Break the chains. Cut the poison off. And if you take it back to rites of passage, understand how they were doing life, them people that's really showing you how to grow in life, that you got in your corner, that you may not be open or having communications to based because of y'all don't like each other or differences, cut the bullshit. Go have a conversation with them. Nip that stuff in the bud. Get over it. Have that hard conversation. If you're doing life was hard, your life will be easy. If you do what life is easy, your life will be hard. So sometimes you got to have those tough conversations. Sometimes you have to confront who you don't want to confront. Sometimes you may have to deal with those parents or those grandparents that hurt you in the past that you've never healed from. Get the healing. Be whole. Meet another whole person. Come together as two people where you value that person and the mission that they have. Find out what people truly value in life. Find out what's that person's gift and find out how y'all can help build together. Find out how you can increase your kingdom. And that's what I wanted to leave y'all with today. Some of the righteous passages. Well, instead of just listening to the just thou not, thou shalt, thou shalt, thou shalt, thou shalt this, thou shalt that, that shall, Hail Mary, Hail Mary. I'm not knocking your religions. I'm saying don't be so religious in your stuff that you don't realize how you could get people to start excelling more at life. And it's not a prosperity gospel. It's a, how can we really get people to transform their lives together as a community, as a people? And that's what I've just seen in rites of passage that I focused on to see the concepts that they had that was working, that we don't got no structure right now because everybody has all this division. 2 or 3 people could, connect on the thing. There's nothing that they can't stop. When people speak all the same language. Well, what if the language was love? You see these historians, everyone could ever speak the same language every time because that's impossible. People were born on this side of earth, and I'm just God's green person born on this person. We communicate. Fuck all that. The language could have been fucking action. Action of love. And what the love might look like was sometimes, if I ain't want to do this, but I know you hungry, I'm going to kill this little ox. I'm going to bring you a piece. I'm going to kill these fish. And that's love. It don't mean I may not like doing it. But the act is out of love. The heart's in the right place. My heart is, I don't want to see you starve. I don't feel like giving you this damn food, but I love you. So I'm going to make sure that you can eat. Now, I ain't going to keep feeding you. I'm going to teach you how to fish because I don't want you to be a burden to me. So I'm going to teach you how to fish so you can eat, my brother, because I'm tired of this shit, but I'm going to help you. So I'm going to feed you right now. Then I'm going to teach you how to fish. Then I'm going to need you to go teach other people how to fish because you know how it feels to not be able to eat. You know how it feels to have somebody else have to provide for you and how that made you feel. And you might have chose yourself to feel inferior because you felt like, damn, I can't do nothing because I got to have somebody else take care of me. Somebody else give me my food. Somebody else give me a paycheck. Somebody else give me a stimulus check. Somebody else give me a grant. Somebody else give me a raise. Somebody else give me a job. Somebody else give me my happiness. Somebody else to complete me. Somebody else to fulfill me. When you don't realize how good you are yourself, you don't realize the power you got. You don't realize you knocking your own self down. That's why we say that the enemy is the enemy. Enemy. You hear how it sounds the same? That's when you got to realize how powerful you are. That's when you got to say it's not the lack of resources, it's the lack of resourcefulness. That's when you got to say, who do I got that I can connect with? That's when you got to start learning how to use what you got to get what you want. And when you do that, but you have the mindset of connection, community, growth, community, connection, growth, community, connection, growth. When you say words have power and repetition of things, faith come by hearing and hearing and hearing and hearing. That's why I repeat certain things over and over and over. I'm trying to wake up a new mindset in you. Something I had to be awoken to. I had to go through and almost dying to understand it's not just about me. It's about the legacy, who I leave these messages on with. I could change one person's life, and if that's who God wanted me to use me to change that one person's life, then it all mattered. But I don't got to change everyone. There's going to be people who love you, people that don't love you. It's going to be people who are going to be there for you, people that's not going to be there for you. Understand it comes with the process. And you got to respect the process. You don't have to enjoy it. But when you start doing what you want to do, sometimes you enjoy the difficulty because you know a promise is coming. Because you know you're going to renew your mindset. Because you know you're going to change your actions. So look at the rites of passage, man. Look, just understand how they were living life and coming together, doing life, taking a child, teaching a man how to become a man, a woman how to become a woman, what they're going to go through, what you're going to face, and how they could be there for them and how they could help them grow. Maximize their mission, maximize their purpose. For someone who don't understand their purpose, their mission, they just told them, listen, what pisses you off? We're going to help you do that. We're going to fix that opportunity for them. Sometimes things can change. Sometimes you may want to do this thing and then you realize, okay, well, this is not really what I want to do anymore. That's fine and that's okay. Give yourself grace because you already got it. And that's what I wanted to I wanted y'all to hear my heart. I don't pre-write stuff and all of that stuff. I just get on here and I just talk. So I hope this has been of value for you. for somebody. And I appreciate y'all for tuning in. John, appreciate you again. I see you, Miss Doc Carter. You know, again, rites of passage, check that out. Just look how our ancestors did it and how they just treat the community. Y'all have a wonderful day. You are blessed. You are blessings. And you can do anything that you want, that you got a passion for, that involves serving people in some type of way. Stay blessed. Amen. Have a wonderful one.